lightning, thunder. So there's all these halachot that there's brachot on many of these things. Now, these brachot are not the same level brachot that you have on food. We are Nun Dalet Amud Aleph. This is the new parak, ninth parak. Haroa Mokom Shenasu Manisim LeYisrael. We are on that parak, and we're going to open up with Haroa Mokom Shenasu Manisim LeYisrael. Everyone have it. Akiva, good morning. If you want to send out to the group,
Morning.
Akiva, if you want to send, all right, you can send to the group.
Okay.
Thank you. If you saw a place that miracles happened to the Jewish people, for instance, the place of the Yam Suf, where when the Jews, where it's split, that area, if you could identify that area where the Jews went through the Yam Suf and the splitting of the sea, or let's say in the time, what did you say? I mean, that happened when the Jews went out of right out of when we left Egypt with Kriyat Yam Suf. Right, so you have to see, but but it's interesting. It doesn't say the place where the Torah was given. Even I wonder if that would be up. First of all, I don't know if anyone can identify that mountain today. Which is the mountain that the Torah was given on? Right? If you'd be able to identify with the mountain Torah was given on, maybe that would also be considered appropriate to say the bracha. Well, Rashi gives examples. What is the Mr. Haber? We just opened up the beginning of the parak 54a. That if you see a place that miracles happen to the Jewish community, that means it seems like it means the whole. It seems like to the whole Jewish community. At least those are some of the examples. We have to see. What about if it's only part of the Jewish community? But the language of the Mishnah is miracles happen to the Jewish people. And Rashi says, give two examples. Rashi says, there are many examples, but two examples is when Yeshua, when he took the people into Eretz Israel, there was a miracle. It was the splitting of the Yarden, of the Jordan River. And the Jews went into Egypt, to Israel. So, and when the Jews went from Egypt, when there was the splitting of the Yam Suf, when the Jews left Egypt, there was also a great miracle when we went in. That's what we sing every day. Az Yashir Moshe B'nai Yisrael. We sing Az Yashir. They sang that song after the splitting of the Yam Suf, and the Jews went through, and the Egyptians were drowned. If you see the spot where that happened, you go to the Yam Suf, you go to the Yarden, you go to the Jordan, you go to Yam Suf, and you could identify that area. You would say a bracha.
We know the area.
I don't think we know the area, because if we would know the area, I would think people would say the bracha. I mean, that's what I would think. But maybe there are people that could identify the area. So it says, if you see that spot, Omer Haroya, the name of the parak is Haroa, someone who sees. That's the name of the parak. Haroa, that's the first word of a lot of times the name of the parak, most of the time it's by the first word of the parak. It says, Haroa Makom Shenasu Manisim LeYisrael. If you see this place where miracles happen to the Jewish people, Omer, Baruch, you would say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu Melech Olam, She'asar Nisim La'avoteinu B'Makom Hazeh. Correct. If a miracle happened to you, you would say a bracha in that spot. And not only you would say a bracha, your children, your grandchildren would say a bracha. You would say, Sha'asalines, a miracle happened to me. You should say, Sha'asalines la'avotai, la'avoteinu. Or we'll see the language. There's a certain language that's said for you, and your children will say it there. Your children will say a different language. We'll have to take out, have to have the siddur. We have the text in the siddur. Exactly. You look at the siddur, where it has the brachot, Muslim bracha, and it gives you a nusach, a text for you, your children to say when they come to that place, and a miracle happened. Now we're talking about what type of miracle we're talking about. So it would seem we're talking about a miracle that's a supernatural miracle, something that's not the norm. There's a lot of things that happen, a lot of miracles that Hashem performs in the daily course of events. But then there's something that's above and beyond, the splitting of the Yam Suf. or these type of miracles, which is just totally against the nature. So those are the type of miracles for sure that you will say a bracha. Okay. Okay, so maybe there are people that certain things happen. There might be. You talk about stories.
I was just like.
Okay, so correct, we say hagomel, but the question is, well, whether they will say the bracha she'asali neis b'makom hazeh might be. There's a difference. There's a bracha called hagomel. It's the hebrew says for someone's in a car accident, you say a bracha if the person is healed from if they got hurt or if they didn't get hurt, they were in great danger. But
They're exposed to a extraordinary event that worked out, and he said that.
but that's the bracha of hagomel, right? That's not the bracha. There's different types of blessings. The blessing of she'asali neis, that type of language, we say only on miracle, miraculous things. Like I said, there's other like I said, hagomel is a different bracha, and that's said on a car accident, something like that. That would be the bracha hagomel.
Whole lady out sick, some sort of thing.
Right. Said hagomel.
Hagomel.
Exactly. We're gonna see. If a person was sick and they got healed, they say hagomel. Person was in jail and they got free, they say hagomel. There are certain situations we're going to see in the Gemara when the bracha hagomel is appropriate to be said. Today, you see, you travel, you're in a danger. What's the point of saying hagomel? Because when you travel, you're in a place of danger, and therefore, you go on a plane, you travel, finish your trip, you go ahead and you say hagomel. Right? You take a regular car ride from Manhattan to Brooklyn, you don't say hagomel.
If you look at statistics, you should say hagomel when you got in the car, opposed to plane. You really.
So Rav Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva as a letter, but it's not. He says it's not just water. The fact that you're in the air and you're in that place, you're not on the ground. That in itself creates you're in a maybe dangerous type of situation, some sort of situation which would require you to say the bracha of hagomel. Yeah, we speak very good. We don't. It's a similar bracha, but not the same. Because miracles happen to our forefathers by Yom Mahim. It's not about a specific location. It's not about we're not saying the bracha on a location. This Mishnah, the Mishnah here is talking about a bracha for a miracle to say over a specific spot. A specific spot, when you come to it, you see a certain spot, an area, a certain location. The bracha of menorah is not just a certain spot. You don't have to go to a certain area of the world. It's any place in the world you light a menorah, you go ahead and you say, well, before you light the menorah, you say the bracha, that has nothing to do with it's not the makom. So that's the case of the Mishnah. Haroyim makom in the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Reish Yutes. That's one example. There are many examples, and these are, like we said, supernatural miracles. What do you say? So you're saying if you would see the mun, we don't see mun today. Okay, so first of all, we're going to see that you would these brachot you would say only once every 30 days. Meaning, if you go to this place every day, you will not say this bracha every day. You see, in the Shulchan Aruch, the Shulchan Aruch brings two opinions. He says like this. Some say that the blessing this blessing is only on a miracle that's not the norm of the world, but something which is more common that happens. Um, let's say he says robbers came and he was saved. He called, he screamed, and as a result that he screamed, it wasn't that he was in an accident. An accident was he actually was in an accident. Here was a situation that a robber came to Chas v'Shalom someone's house, and he screamed, and or people came in, and then the robbers ran away. So there is a question: do you say a bracha on such an event or not? So he says, best is since there's a dispute. What do you say? Right. So he says best is to say say a bracha without the shema malchut. Such a situation where it wasn't that he actually was attacked. It wasn't actually that but he was just saved from something. So they say that a bracha without the shame of Hashem. Okay. Like he says, the Chafetz Chaim says, if a rock fell on somebody or something like that, he actually got, which sounds like an accident, and normally a person would die from such a thing, and he was saved. When he comes to that place, and every 30 days, if he wasn't there for 30 days, and he comes to that place, he would say a bracha. Then he says, if a stone fell next to us and he almost got hit, right? Let's say something came from a building and he almost got hit, but it didn't fall on his head. So there, according to one opinion, you might say a bracha, and because any person that was close to getting to something that he could have been very, very hurt, he has to say a bracha according to some. So say a bracha without Shema Malchut, without the name of. Don't say bracha to Hashem Elokeinu Melech. Say baruch she'asa nes b'mokom hazeh. Achronim write, somebody who a miracle happened, he should separate some money to tzedakah according to what he could afford, and he should give to the people that study Torah. How do you like that? And he should say, I am giving this tzedakah, and it should be the will that it should be considered as if I brought a korban todah. As if I there's a korban called todah, a thanksgiving offering that was brought in the Beit HaMikdash, like you see Mizmor LaTodah, say in the davening. Yes. So this money should be as if I brought a korban that I would be obligated in the time of the Beit HaMikdash. And okay, so and he also says that it will be appropriate to do something for the community. And every day he should thank Hashem, and he should be happy and talk about God's kindness. If a miracle happened to somebody, there was an old rabbi in the Lower East Side who learned in the Mir in Europe, in the Mir Yeshiva in Europe, and he would always like to tell over the miracles of the Mir Yeshiva being transported from Europe to Shanghai during the war, and because the pasuk says "Sichu b'chol neflotav," talk about God's miracles. If you ever want to read up on, I suggest read up on the miracles of the Mir Yeshiva. I would highly suggest. What? There's one in Israel also, but these miracles happened during the war. Okay, now let's get back to the Mishnah. So you got a little background appreciation on the bracha of a miracle happens to a person. So haroa makom shenasabu nisim lavis. You got the beginning of the parak, everybody? If you see a place that miracles happen to Jewish people, Omer baruch she'asa nisim lavatenu b'mokom hazeh. Mokom shenekra mimenu avodah zarah. If you come to a place where avodah zarah was uprooted, there used to be idol worship, a lot of idols in the place. So what do you say? You say Baruch, you say Omer Baruch She'aka Avodah Zarah Me'atzenu. You say, blessed be Hashem, and Tosfos says, you say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, that you uprooted Avodah Zarah from our land. So obviously, this is something that you would say if it happened in the land of Israel. If it was not outside the land of Israel, you would say Baruch Atah Hashem She'aka Avodah Zarah B'Mokom Hazeh, from this place. You would say there's a different text if you're outside the land of Israel.
That word is Avodah Zarah. That's
Akum is referring to Avodah Zarah. By the way, you should have just addressed Nathan. Some have the text I have in my set, Avodah Zarah. Sometimes Akum refers to a non-Jew. Akum also so here it's referring to over the Avodah Zarah. What do you want to say, Yaron?
No, like the bracha is changing based on the case.
Right, exactly. Al Hazikim. Now we're going to get into different types of shooting stars and these type of things. Al Hazikim. Some say Zikim is the Gemara will translate later what is Zikim, but some say it's like a shooting star, right? It goes and it moves from place to place. So that type of, if you see a shooting star, or it has zvaos, or zvaos is an earthquake happens, val hara'amim, or if you have thunder, right? Boom, you hear a big boom, or you have alaruchot, or if you have tremendous winds, unusual winds, sounds like a hurricane type winds or tremendous winds. And what other case we have is al habrokim, on lightning. So what's the bracha that you would say on all these things? So the Mishnah says, Omer Baruch Shakocho Gvurato Malei Olam. The Gemara says the bracha on these things is Shakocho Gvurato Malei Olam. That God's power and might fills up the whole world. So what does it say over here is the bracha on the thunder? Everybody knows that thunder you say Shekocho Gvurato Malei Olam, right? If you hear thunder, and you have to say the bracha immediately upon hearing it. You can't like wait 10 seconds. You have to do it as we call toch kedei dibur, right? Within a couple of seconds. Yeah, then you lost it. Right? If you delayed, you would not do it. If you delayed, yes, because it says it has to be the time of. You can say Shalom Alecha Rebbe. How long will that take? That takes a Shalom Alecha Rebbe. It's a very short amount of time. That's what the Yalkut Yosef brings down. If you pass that amount of time, you cannot say the bracha. But remember, it says here, it put lightning and thunder in the same category, correct? Lightning, thunder, say, we'll translate one translation, shooting star, is Shekocho Gvurato Malei Olam. Now, these events, Rashi says, these events are, they're widespread. It's not like something that's limited to a certain spot, right? Let's say you see a certain lake or a certain river, a certain mountain. It's very specific. It's right here. And therefore, certain mountains, great mountains, you would say a bracha. It said he made this is what he made. The one who created. This is things of the creation. Hashem created the world with these. He was the one who made the creation of the world. This is what we recognize when you see certain mountains, certain great lakes, but that bracha is very limited to that. Since it's a spot, you say Maasav Reshit. Something that's a thunder, which goes all around, a very large area, or whether lightning, which is seen from you can see lightning in a broad sense. So these type of things, the Mishnah says technically, The bracha is Shekocho V'Rato Molei Olam. But we know in practice, what do we say? We say in practice, when you see lightning, we say Oseh Maaseh Bereshit on lightning. He says over here, let's see, Ala Brokim, we say, we'll see more about it, but we say actual bracha that we say, the custom that we say on lightning is Oseh Maaseh Bereshit. Thunder, we say, Shekocho V'Rato Molei Olam. You hear thunder? You're supposed to say a bracha. Okay?
Only once per-
Oh, no, now, right. As long as, for that storm, as long as that storm is going, if you have multiple thunders, you will only say one bracha on the thunder or the lightning. You don't say, I saw 10 different lightnings. You don't say 10 different brachot. Unless the storm finished, evaded, went away, and then now another storm came back, then you could say another bracha if it happened again. There's a bracha on a rainbow too. You have opportunity, correct. If you missed the first bracha on the first lightning, you can say the bracha on the second lightning. If you missed the first, or same thing if you missed the first thunder and the second thunder. Okay, so the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, al ha'arim, but certain mountains, I think some say like Mount Ararat, right? Certain mountains, amazing mountains that are, you see. It's an amazing type of mountain. Valakvos, or certain types of hills, an amazing type of hill. Valhayamim, or on the oceans. There's a bracha on the oceans that you say when you see the ocean. You see Naharot and certain lakes. There's a question in halacha: is it the 4 Great Lakes, or is it anything similar to the 4, similar in size to those lakes?
Whoa.
Similar to those lakes?
Close.
Alamidboros, or on
You never seen
desert.
them here almost, huh?
So
What's the bracha that you say at all those things? You say Baruch Oseh Maaseh Bereshit. That's the bracha that you would say on this, because you're recognizing this is what Hashem created. This is from Maaseh Bereshit. This is here from the beginning of time, right? This mountain is not something that was created yesterday. It's not like a building that was just put up. This ocean is not something that was just created. These are phenomena. These are things that stick out, that really, what do you say? When you see it, when you see the ocean, that's what now whether you would say that if you see this ocean, you should say the bracha. That's what it says. But again, you would have to do it, but provided you didn't see it, but that's once every 30 days. You see, when it comes to the ocean, when it comes to these natural phenomenons that you see that Hashem created, that you would go ahead and you would say it every 30 days that you would see such a thing. If you see it every day, you don't say the bracha every day. You say it once. Now, Rabbi Yehuda says that if you see the Yam HaGadol, see the great Yam HaGadol, which some say it's referring to the Mediterranean Sea. Some say it's referring to the Atlantic Ocean. So he said, Rabbi Yehuda says it's a special bracha for that Yam HaGadol. Meaning it's not the regular bracha of Oseh Maaseh Bereshit. Just like, you have on beverages.
Say thank you for the class. I'm probably going to lose you in like a minute or so, okay?
Okay,
So
thank you, Yosef Tzaddik. Just like you say a bracha on a drink, you say a shehakol. But then you have a drink that's above all drinks, wine. You see, that's the king of drinks. You say a geffen. So it's the same thing is that you have oceans, but then you have this. Either it's referring to the Mediterranean Sea, that maybe that's something more unique about that than other, or some say it's referring to maybe the Atlantic Ocean, which covers such a tremendous area of the world. So some say there's Rabbi Huda says you got to make a specific bracha. What Avi? Huda says you got to make a special bracha for that for that body of water. In the Yalkut Yosef, he says that if you see, there's a question: what is the Yam HaGadal that the rabbi spoke about? Is it the Mediterranean or the Atlantic? So therefore, if you see them, you would not say this bracha b'shem or malchut. You would say Baruch she'aseh hayam hagadal. You wouldn't say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. So that's the. Now the Mishnah continues. We welcome Avi. The Mishnah says. Now here's the point. Bisman she'ra'u leprakim. This idea that you say the bracha now is only if you saw it every so often that you would say the bracha. Not if you live next to the Mediterranean Sea or you live next to the Atlantic Ocean, you're not going to say the bracha every day on it, because the idea is something that makes a very big impression on you. But if it's something that you see every day, it's not something that moves you. You don't feel that appreciation as much, most probably, and therefore there's no need to say a bracha. You would not need. You're not able to say a bracha on every day. Now, alak shamim, val besora tovot. Let's say you have rain, right? You did not have rain for a long period of time, and then you were blessed with rain. So there's a bracha. What's the bracha? Or let's say besura tovot. You had a very good news, right? A certain great blessing happened to you, and other people were also benefited from this great blessing. So what's the bracha for besura tovot and baruch hatov hametiv? That would be the bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam hatov hametiv. That would be the bracha that you would say. In the Shulchan Aruch, they talk about this in Reish Chaf Gimel. Let's see, in Reish Chaf Gimel, it says on news that's good for you and other people, you say the bracha of Hatov HaMeitiv. Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. If your wife gives birth to a baby boy, you say the bracha Hatov HaMeitiv. That's the bracha. Okay, so the Mishnah continues. Now, al besurat ra'ot chas v'shalom. If let's say there's bad news, a person got bad news, there's a bracha for bad news too. To recognize that the bad news, even though it's bad, but it can't, obviously Hashem did it, and we have to recognize that, and it's all for the best. So you say a bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, Dayan Ha'emet. That's the bracha. Avi, you with me? That's the bracha for bad news, and nobody should have.
It's not a bad place.
I mean, to make a bracha in a bad place.
That's why 9/11, the World Trade Center, somebody.
That something tragic happened. Yeah, so we're not gonna. They didn't seem to institute a bracha on a place that a tragedy happened. It's interesting. A bad thing happened. We only find that if a miracle happened, only if a miracle happened in this place, then you say a bracha. But if a miracle didn't happen, something tragic happened, someone got really hurt in the place. It wasn't a good story. It wasn't a miracle. No miracle happened to the guy. He got hurt, if you don't say a bracha on that, you don't say a bracha when you pass by that place. Pass by the place that he got once in an accident.
45 degrees, he's driving along in the car, and went upside down. And miraculously,
Again, Mr. Haber, again, that was miraculous. You're saying you gave a good story out. That's a good story, then he should say a bracha. We're talking about if a bad story happened. In your case, Mr. Haber, the guy was saved, so a miracle happened in that place. So we said a miracle happened in a certain place. The Baruch Hashem, the language you say there's a text. I made a miracle happen to me in this place, but the case, the case. No, Agomo, again, when he's healed, he'll say the bracha Gomel, or he might say the bracha. He might say the bracha Gomel also for that. Meaning, there's two different. See, I would say the bracha Shas and Nesim is something he could say for the rest of his life when he passes that place. But the bracha of Agomel would be the bracha that he would say once. Meaning, the Gomel, when he finishes that event, he would say he would go to the synagogue in front of a minyan, and he has to say the bracha Gomel in that case that you just said. But he's going to get two. He gets two on that deal, right? Not only does he go to the synagogue after that miracle happened that you described, say that accident that he was saved, he'll go to the synagogue in front of 10 people and he has to say a bracha. In front of 10 people, he has to say the bracha Gomel. And the children, his children, when the children would pass by that place, or he himself would pass by that place, he would say a bracha, a different bracha. The Gomel bracha is a one-time bracha, he's going to say. He goes to the synagogue and he's going to say, HaGomel Chayom Tovot, Shegmalani Kol Tov. That you gave me such a great thing you did to me. I was saved in this situation. And that bracha is said in front of a minyan. But then every time he passes by this place, what does he say? A different bracha. A different bracha. No minyan. No minyan. What's the bracha? She'asali neis b'mokom hazeh. A miracle happened to me. That bracha does not require minyan. What? Once for 30 days if he passes by that place. Every 30 days, you should know. Mr. Haber, is that clear? You see what I'm saying? Now you should know there's a student of my father, Rabbi Mueller, who became a Baal Tshuva. My father, Rabbi London, went out in 1950s. He went to Toledo, Ohio, and he got him to come to the camp and to the yeshiva, and he became religious. And almost everybody else and his neighbors did not become religious. And Baruch Hashem, he has a family with children, grandchildren, all religious people. Every year he goes to the camp in Mountaindale, where Rabbi Lund, where the hill, the area where they spoke to him about coming to the yeshiva. And he says every year he says the bracha without Shem Hashem. He doesn't say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam She'asali Neis. He says Baruch She'asali Neis Makom Hazeh. Because he doesn't know that he's allowed to say he was convinced and encouraged to go to yeshiva, and that was a miracle. But the halacha doesn't say you say a bracha with the Shem Hashem of such a thing. But every year, for the last who knows how many years, he told me the story of Shabbat. Every year, go to that spot. He takes his kids to it. He takes his and he says Baruch she'asali neis b'mokom hazeh. That he went to yeshiva and he became a religious Jew. How do you like that story?
It's amazing, but why this is Baruch Atah?
Because it wasn't a supernatural miracle that happened. It wasn't that he was, something that he should have gotten, a big stone that was that should have killed him, and it didn't kill him. That's a supernatural miracle. But what's not a big thing? Because it wasn't something supernatural, like a rocket. What? Something. Right, or something out of the order. Okay, I don't want anyone to be late. I mean, yeah, 7:24. Give people time to get their fill in and everything. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Akiva.